Hi there, Zelda here, and welcome back to episode 2 on Dragonfell Season 3. I got so excited at the end of last episode for finishing the starter base that I completely forgot that I mentioned just before cutting to the time lapse that I was like, oh yeah, the farming area, we'll stop by over there and I'll catch you guys up when I was talking about the like overhead map area. So when I was like talking about the using the whole island for the build last time, I was like, oh yeah, we'll pop over there, and we never got over here. So I figured I should make an effort to get this in at the start of the episode so that you guys kind of see where we started off. So not much has changed over here other than a few of like the tree configurations, and I wanted to bring this up also because this is something that you're gonna see as the series progresses. This is something we've enabled on the server. It is a data pack that changes either dogs or cats into basically little player models. So if you're following over on Twitch, you will have very likely already seen this. But this is one of the least vanilla parts about the season. And then the other thing I wanted to point out while we're over here are these chests. I think I talked about them maybe a little bit. I'm getting a little blurry already. But basically what we have on the server is a mod called Looter. It makes the chests in natural structures really ornate looking, and you can tell if you have looted them if they are gold, and then these ones that I've obviously looted, I've taken stuff out of them, they turn silver. And basically what this allows is on a multiplayer server, it allows everybody a chance at structure generated loot. So this was a village that I co-opted as my farming district. So in the farmhouses, there are sometimes chests. And so those two mods are something that I wanted to mention early in the season, just because I said this is vanilla plus, but we do have a few additional things. So namely the trims, namely we invested in looter on the servers. Since it is multiplayer server, we want to make sure everybody had an opportunity to get trims from structures, and that it wasn't just like an absolute race. So all that being said, I'm sorry, this is a little bit of information. Like I said, I'm just trying to document where we are to start with. So this is my portal, my main portal in the nether, and this is actually where we're going to start today, so I can get around my area easier. But this was the first farm that I made. It is a version of an iron farm by Scouse Mouse. I will try to remember to link the farm tutorial in the description. It obviously has a much bigger build around it than is absolutely necessary because I didn't want it to look like a farm necessarily. But I've got to work on like interesting spawn proofing other than path blocks, but I figured that would come with time. So I dressed it up a little bit with leaves. They're not, I tested it just to make sure that golems weren't spawning through them. Oops, oh, I took my armor off. So we're gonna be, like I said, every area is gonna be a work in progress until I do like a final pretty cinematic for it probably. But really all I'm using this area over here for is a teeny tiny villager hall. That is temporary. And then the iron farm, and then my wool farm over here. I think I'm gonna do a wool shop on the server. So I got this up and going really early in the season, just so that it can be passively collecting wool while I'm AFK for iron or while I'm tree chopping. And we have smelting stuff going on at the moment for our project. So let's pop into the nether real quick, and I will talk about what we're doing to start this episode off as it becomes night, and hopefully nobody needs not night. So this is my main portal, and it's a little sketchy. We are smack dab in the middle of a crimson forest. So in my effort to make my area easier to navigate, I am going to do a little mini hub, and if I activate free cam from here, you can kind of see about the scale that I'm going to be working with. So I'm going to go from my farm portal all the way over here. This is my mine currently that I'm working at, which may not make a lot of sense, but we haven't been over there yet, so I'll leave that for later. And then this one over here is where we were at last episode at the boot. So instead of taking a rocket or two, depending on if I'm, able to fly very well, we get to be into, ignore that, this is still a work in progress. This floor is still a work in progress. But basically I've got, this portal over here so that we can move the villagers in, because the boot is also doubling as our villager trade hall. So it's our starter base, and then it's going to be the villager trade hall. So on this floor, and then the next 2 floors down, there's going to be villagers. So I wanted to start with my nether project so that I can transport those villagers from our base over at the temporary farming setup easier. So basically I can transport them, what is this, 30 blocks in the nether versus a couple hundred in the overworld. So I'm going to start here, getting a little bit of more of the perimeter dug out, because I've got maybe a quarter of it prepped. I'm going to put in a floor that is spawn proof, and then we're going to put up walls so we don't get shot at from anything that may be lurking in the depths. So I got myself a golden helmet specifically for the nether, and I got a hoe so that I can take out some of this foliage. And I am ready to get cranking, man. I've got a movie queued up, gonna listen to some tunes, and I'm just gonna dig. We'll be right back. Welcome back! I am happy to report the spawn-proof floor is in, and we have had a successful stream since the time-lapse that you saw, and it was absolutely hilarious because on, mobile devices, on Twitch, on YouTube, it's very, 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 very hard to see that I'm actually standing on something. So I had multiple people in stream absolutely freak out when I was just walking around in the nether. They're like, what? Wait, what? I think it would have even almost been a little bit harder if I had used red, because you can see the hard line of where the glass is when I look out that direction. When I look this way, it's a little bit easier to disguise. It just looks like it's really dark. But the purpose of this floor, obviously, spawn proof to start with. So I didn't want to mess with slabs and buttons and stuff. I just wanted a nice, clean, open area because I realized we don't have... if you can kind of tell by the little map there, and then this is a great look. We are basically smack dab in the middle of a crimson forest, which means we don't have to really be worried about ghasts because they don't spawn in this biome. So I can have this big, nice open area, and what I was talking about getting shot at by is the hoglins down there, but as long as I stay away from the edge, and if I'm wearing gold while I'm working in here, then it's fine. It's easy peasy. And you also saw, if you watch that time lapse really closely, right about here was a netherite. An ancient debris was, or sorry, not a netherite, just one ancient debris, but it was dude, that is it was so high up. But we were able to, so this portal here is our like starting farm, our villagers, like our first village was there, and the villagers I was trading with, our iron farm, our like any of our like farms are there. That's where we started off. And then over here is now the old lady in the shoe. This one is going to be kind of the center of the story valley. It's basically smack in the middle of the valley. And then that one's the mine, which again, we still haven't been there yet. But I do plan to get there this episode to show the results there. But what I wanted to show is I just got everything all cleaned up from transporting the villagers. So when we go over to the boot, the starter base slash trading hall, it is now officially a trading hall. We ended up compromising. Unfortunately, I did have a little bit of a setback. I'm going to do a grand reveal crib style of the full interior once we get there, but I just wanted to kind of do an update here. I was originally going to give these guys nice rooms. Maybe I'll be able to include the concern we had as a blooper at the end of this episode. Let me do that, because it's absolutely hilarious. Something that happened on stream. One of these librarians, we have unbreaking, we have sweeping, but I mostly unlocked him because he had the bookshelf trade, and he's now given us 2 top level sword enchants, and then efficiency 5. I had unlocked these guys to kind of complement my smiths for the tools, because I wanted to get diamond tools without using diamonds for like actually crafting them, and then I wanted to have some bits and bobs. Now, I did have a mending villager at one time. That was actually our first guy unlocked. He had mending books for, I think it was 14, so they weren't super cheap. But yeah, you'll see. Those are my 3 librarians. So the mending guy was behaving very badly in the rooms that I was having planned for them. So they ended up with like an actual proper working station in the attic. So I just wanted to share this part of the episode with you because our grind paid off. Using the villagers, getting the tools started early, meant that we had enough diamonds to do enough smithing template upgrades that now I can fully kit out a complete set of armor. I am so excited for this. Like, genuinely so excited. This takes so much more mining now. But I was also able to get everything that I wanted max level. The Thorns 2 isn't a max level enchant. You can go up to Thorns 3, but this was from the end. And the only thing I needed to put on that was mending. So I was like, I'm taking it. Like, I don't care that it has thorns on it. So I put mending on it. And then all these other ones were partly from the end and then partly from supporting the newest shop in the shopping district. I'll leave a link to the video down below because it is super cool the way they have it set up. It is a library style build that is just super fun. And I got to be there on the soft launch so that we could practice. So I'm going to borrow this guy's contraption here so that we can get this upgrade. The upgrade thing. I have been looking forward to doing this all day. There it is. There it is. GG. Let's go. Oh my gosh. I'm just going to put it on. Let's go. Let's go. So one of my goals in this season, thank y'all. That was such a grind. One of my goals this season is there is a new advancement having to do with the smithing templates, and that is to basically apply each type of smithing template. So I think I'm going to start that now that we have a full set of gear. Now I can start using the netherite that we get for adding the smithing templates. I'm not sure if you need netherite for that or if it matters which kind. I think it matters which kind of ore you use. So I'm going to leave off here. I'm going to work a little bit more on the last couple pieces of the interior since I changed my plan with these guys. And then I did have a second village over at the I am so turned around in this attic. I think it's over this way. I've never punched mud bricks before. That sounded that sounded so weird. Sorry. Little distracted. But in that direction where the valley was, there was another village. I think I'm just going to move those villagers over into these slots. I might not lock them in yet, but I want to have stuff like masons and a few other kind of more difficult to renew items, so we're definitely gonna like fill this area out, except for this one is to go downstairs. But that's it. That's what I got for you guys. Now this feels good. And oh, I lied. That's not everything, because I wanted to show this off as well. I was able to, while I was grinding for diamonds, I was able to also kit out all of my backup tools. So I have fortune, I have 2 work picks, that I think I'm going to put Silk and Fortune on separately, but for now they're just, like, these were the picks that helped me get through all the debris that I wanted for everything else. Silk and Fortune versions of everything else, and then my Fortune axe. I almost never use a Fortune axe, but I have all the things! I have them all! So I will be back in just a little bit with something new. Welcome back. Real quick, I just need to address the complete non sequitur we just had. I wasn't even thinking. I was so excited that we had the diamonds to do the smithing upgrade. I was like, let's record. I recorded in the wrong skin. I cannot redo the clip, since it's, you know, I have the complete netherite set now. So I figured I should address the fact that this is not my standard skin, nor is it meant to be any part of the stories at the moment. So it was an event server skin that I used for the month of June over on my streaming channel, because we were playing on a team on an event server called 9 Lives SMP, and it was a race to finish the Blazing Caves data pack, or at least to complete as many advancements as you could, and our team was called the Orange Peels. So this was my theme skin, and then I was recording something else that might have been maybe on this channel, you know, just before this episode, you know, in kind of a more competitive look, and then I was gonna switch my skin back, and I totally forgot to. So if you're curious where this skin has been and why I'm using it, there's no intention yet. So I apologize for that. I'll be back as my normal self very soon. And with the power of editing and time changes, we're back. I'm myself again, and I have some amazing updates to go over with you. I've already talked your ears off a lot, but I want to do this tour of the interior of the build, because holy cow, is there a lot to go over. I am so excited. I'm so flippin' excited with the way that the interior has turned out, and I kind of want to just do one whole sweep through the entire interior so that nothing gets missed or forgotten, and I will try to remember to point out the important parts. But to begin with, let's bring up my crosshairs so we can see what we're doing, and I am going to try to remember to close the doors behind me so that we remember which rooms we've been in. But basically we have, you know, like a storage closet, and I did try to make it possible to have so much storage in this build that I won't possibly outgrow it for a while. So as you can see, even like the storage area here, I haven't touched yet. I have lots of storage space just in that one little corner. But as we get a little further, you'll see I'm kind of starting to slowly outgrow this place. But then there's the foyer welcoming area. And then immediately off to the side over here is the enchant area that I was talking about, where we have the full enchant setup. It does full level 30s. And then we also included a loom because, you know, I had to. That's a throwback to before we had the custom bookshelves that could actually be emptied. But then we also have some of these books that can hold. Also, everybody's been on and off a whole bunch lately. But we do have the bookcases that you can interact with, and oh, it makes a sound. I've been so interested in the sounds lately. I got a different headset on. I think that's what's making the difference. Anyway, so again, much storages. So anything basically that's enchanty related, extra backup gear is in this room. And I saved my first diamond. Let's go. I'm so excited. And each of these books is going to contain history, just like all the little knickknacks that are going throughout the interior. I'm going to save history of my base. For example, this one is Story Valley Planning and Execution for Dragonfell Season 3. And so far, it's kind of just the outline of my base ideas and like what I've done when. And same thing with the armor stand logs. It's each area that we have kind of a base location. It's talking about any of the armor stands that are being redeemed on stream. And then I have 2 books to grow into based on other lore and stuff that I want to do. And then it is nighttime outside, so let's do this real quick. Let's go upstairs to the 2nd floor, and I will show you guys the bedroom. We're gonna sleep. Because the outside of this build is unfortunately not super spawn-proof. So, as you saw, we came up and over the stairs to get here, but I'm gonna go back down to the landing. So we saw the enchant room, and then the foyer, I don't know. Words. And then if we come around down here is the mine entrance. This is the small mine. Small mine. But I have brought over everything that was at all of my different areas. So at Skillywags, at our starter base, everywhere. So all the stone stuff is here. And then you'll see where more storage is in a minute. But everywhere that I could, like, I tried to make storage possible. So if you ever come around on streams, you'll see that I'm running around this house like a crazy lady because I'm like looking at everywhere for different things. So like along this line here, I am storing my... Oh, hey, what happened? Okay, that was a little bit lag. I am storing all of my mini blocks. We've been very lucky so far, and everybody knows that I'm addicted to them a little bit addicted to the mini blocks. So we're getting intel on where they are. So if you see, like I'm getting 4s of anything, anytime I get intel, because I'm like, I appreciate that I'm getting the intel, I pay back with half the blocks. So we're trying to make the interior as user-friendly also, so we have all the different types of workstations kind of in this room, because this is actually the closest to our storage area. And you'll see that I'm already starting to move out of storage into this kind of like next area here. Like most of these have stuff in them, which also, think we should talk about that next, maybe. So yeah, so we've got anvil, we've got a little smithing table hidden there, and then this side is just decorative, but basically if I actually like have too much of a mess with shulkers set out for projects, I've been setting them against this wall just so they're kind of tucked away. And then this goes out the backside. Nothing super interesting out there, but I do have access to all, to 2 of the sides of the house. And then here is the storage that we were just moving into at the end of the last episode. So as I said, this was intended to be the starter build. So like I was thinking this was going to be storage for a while. I've definitely been having so much fun that we already expanded into the attic. Now, this doesn't look like a lot, but keep in mind a lot of my mining materials are over yonder, and then anything that is like kind of miscellaneous stuff, I actually have a fair amount in my ender chest too of different types of stuff. So I'm kind of all over the place. I have too much stuff. It's okay. I'm gonna use it all, I'm sure. But I won't go through everything here just because the rest of the house beckons. But that's storage, and I think it's pretty nicely contained, and also, like I said, I still have all of the extra spaces. I don't think I talked about this, sorry. So basically all of my smelting stuff comes through to here. So it's kind of pseudo automatic. It's very manual still. Like you have to put in the fuel and the items, but then you don't have to wait around for them. They come out in those barrels. So I think that is, oh, and one more little hidden storage. I think that's everything on this level here. So now we can truly go up to the next floor. So the next floor splits. You can go to the right, which we'll go to first, or you can go to the left. And so you kind of already saw this room. This is the bedroom, the main master bedroom. And then this storage attic here is separated from the other one because this is all the like important stuff, which is hilarious because this area is a little dusty, but I figured it was a little bit smaller and more contained, and kind of more protected, being, you know, kind of part of one of the main bedrooms. So this is where I'm keeping all of like my collections of things. So we've got all except one trim, which is yet one more thing that I want to talk to you guys about. Oh my gosh, we have so much to cover. But yeah, and then we've got the discs. So far, these three, like, these used to be hard, but or like, this one's like new this episode, or not, with this update, sorry. But basically, like, the hard ones are now the creeper ones, because I don't mess with mobs very much. But, we have, obviously, room to grow, and then these, barrels are actually part of the outside of the build, so we have storage that is built into the walls itself. And then as we come down and around, this area here is probably the biggest open space in the whole house. But I did that intentionally because, like we looked at downstairs with the books, I do armor stand redeems on stream, and I want to have space for if somebody wants to have an armor stand in the house. I want to have some spaces where it's not going to be like, you know, I just have them randomly on a stair, for example, but like I can set scenes in these different areas. And then we have even more storage, and I could probably even sneak a little bit more in here now that I'm looking. Like there's a lot of vertical space here. But basically chests, barrels, cobwebs, lights, torches, or lights and anvils. Oh, hold up. Who did that? My grandfather clock was all upside down. Sus. So as we continue around the spiral staircase, here is where the original plan was for the villagers to be kind of housed. Basically, what I was going to do was I was going to have a trapdoor here on the floor, because what that would do is it would stop the villagers from being able to come out because they're taller than a player, but I could still go in and out. So my intention was to give them each one of their own rooms. So I'm going to do some fancy video editing here and show you guys what happened. Okay, I'm really hoping that went right and that you guys are laughing your faces off right now because of the shenanigans. But basically, yeah. We decided that we couldn't because something about their pathing was broken in this area. Could not figure it out, spent like 45 minutes on stream trying to figure out the pathing, why they were doing the weird thing they were doing, and couldn't figure it out. So we had to disrespect our surroundings, which is we had Rogue come over and he played "Disrespect Your Surroundings," the like hard rock metal song. And the villager perished. So these now are just decorative rooms, but it's okay because what I can do is, like I was saying just a second ago, we can add the armor stand redeems from chat, and then even more storage. And then if we go up to the next floor, again, the intention of these areas was to have like villagers in a room, like with their their workstation. But unfortunately, we couldn't do that. So I did still go ahead and decorate them like bedrooms because that's, you know, this is a house. And I did, every one of them has a little bit unique of an interior, but I tried to use mini blocks, flowers, paintings. I tried to use, oh, I'm so sorry. I left that armor stand empty. We'll look at this one. It's a better example. I did try to kit each room out with a little bit of carpet if there was space, and the armor stands with different colors, just so that we had a lot of color everywhere, even in such small spaces. So if you're claustrophobic, I'm super sorry. This is definitely the smallest floor, because like vertical space is a little bit limited. And because I smooshed more rooms on this floor than on the floor down below. But I love how each interior room is a little bit unique. And then if we come out here, hello, we're on the balcony. And this is what made the floor plan a little wonky, was trying to get it to line up with that balcony. The interior and the exterior were not designed at the same time. And then here we go. Here's the villager trade hall where our portal is, which is the weirdest place for a portal. You come in the attic with a bunch of dudes around. And as you can see, the spots that were empty in the last clip are are still empty. I had too much fun decorating the interior, so I decided not to move villagers again for a while because y'all are a pain. So I still have space for 5 villagers. I think I had mentioned that I wanted to have like some masons, so I think I'm going to put some masons here, and then I think I'm going to do a farmer, a cleric, and something else. I'm not sure yet. But I think I want at least 2 masons so that I could get like quartz and stuff. And then the final space. We're almost done, I promise. Thank you for staying with me. This is a long crib style tour, and I appreciate you coming along for the ride because I love interiors, and I usually don't have a big build to put so much variety in. This is genuinely super exciting for me. So now that we're up here in the attic, I can show off this. It was one of my favorite things with armor stands, because it's actually like interactive. Like you can actually, like, you can swap what's there. You can like take something out and could just completely leave it. So we may use that more often, especially if like we have like a gear up room or something. I don't know. Oh, yes, I do know. Brainwave. Okay. I'm filing that thought away. But basically, I just have all the little nooks and crannies filled with little different things. And I tried really hard to have access to all the exterior windows. If I do just a little bit of free cam out this side, you'll see this one set of windows I could not find a way to work out. Basically, the villager trade hall is on this floor here. And so the way that the village trade hall was working is that it basically is like right in front of, I think here. Yeah. So it's right there. So unfortunately, the one set of windows is not, there's not an outside access to, but I was pretty proud that we were able to get everything else, to work out. It's a little bit crowded in some of these rooms, but you still, I mean, the kiddos would still have access, to be able to look out the window while they're studying. Also, wow, I'm unpracticed at F5 in this view. So I think with all that said, I need to stop talking and show you some more cool things because that was a lot of talking, and I super duper appreciate y'all going with me crib style through this house, because seriously, I just have so much fun with it, and it's probably a good thing I took so much time in the first couple weeks to set this up because, like I said, I'm gonna be here for a while. This is where all of my storage is, all of it, everything is in here. So from here, I'm gonna take you guys into the nether for another couple updates in there. I know we just did a bunch of digging in the nether, but I had a couple other very, let's say, important projects, absolutely critically important. Okay, we're gonna do just a really quick wrap up because there is not too much for me to talk about on this contraption, but this is why you were seeing those frog lights in my kitchen, and one of the reasons why I was saying that stuff that I had to do in the nether was absolutely critical is because I want the frog lights for part of our story valley, because to me they are the most fantastical like light source, because of the coloring pairings that you can do with them, other than end rods. End rods are really fantastic also, but I've got another update on that in just a second. So for me, I wanted to get frog lights done, and also I just finished playing on that server that we talked about earlier, the 9 life server, with a new player, Cheetah, and I'm gonna go ahead and engage free cam here. He made this farm on 9 lives for us, and I was absolutely blown away at how simple it was. I was so excited to be teamed up with him and Sorgan because I learned so much, and I was able to make this farm myself now for the first time. Really compact and super insanely OP. In fact, it's so OP that I did one night of AFK and I got like these 2 chests on this side, or 2 rows of chests, and these 2 rows of chests. So I basically got something close to basically 15 double chests of frog lights, and then and then three chests full of magma cream. I have most of the frog lights back over at storage, obviously not just the ones that I showed in that barrel, but I have some shulkers full that I'm going to set up a store for. But then we have our own personal supply, and I have infinite many magma creams. What am I going to do with magma creams? I don't know, but you can craft them into the blocks. So that's kind of cool. So if we need a big supply of magma, maybe for a gold farm, for example, you know, just saying, maybe. That's not something anybody on the server has done yet, but I am really enjoying these farms, and to that end, I have a couple more nether updates. We're popping around everywhere in the nether right now to catch everybody up to speed, because I've been helping try and get some infrastructure on the server, and so let's go over to the next, or truly the first one I did, but it's the reason why we've had a constant supply of food. Okay, this one might look very similar to the last one we were at, because they're basically just walls of chests at the bottom. But when you look a little higher, it looks a little different. Basically just platforms above the roof in different biomes for things to spawn. And then different ways to kill them. So it is a little bit OP to have access to the roof, but when all you want to do is play and build and have fun and shenanigans, some of these basic necessities like food, it makes sense to have a fair supply of. So I do have a little shop in the shopping district already for pork chops, and we have lots. Oops, sorry, that's not the best example. I have a double chest full there on this side, and then yeah, so that is all the extra stuff. And again, I have more stuff back at base and at the store, so I think I'm set on having a couple shops for a while. But I think next time we actually have to get out there and make the shops, because I showed the wool farm is part of our farming setup, and that is for the wool farm. And then, like I said, we've got this one set up. It's just little so far, but then I want to sell frog lights too. So we've got wool and frog lights. So I think next episode we are going to start with some shopping districts and maybe some base visits around. But that's not all of the bebop-a-loodling around we have to do for the nether this time. I have even more to share in the nether. We'll go maybe one or maybe, oops, sorry, maybe 2 more places. Oh, 2 more places. Mission complete. We just got it. We just got the word. Okay. All right. I've got 2 more places to show you. Okay, this is a super quick look at the Wither Skelly farm because I lost most of my footage. Hopefully this is enough to satiate your curiosity. And welcome back from the not complete at all finished Wither Skelly farm to a slightly even less finished farm that also is part of a fortress. The little dudes in here are not giving the right vibes. This is not a hoglin farm. We already looked at the hoglin farm. Oh no. That's a great exemplification of my PvP skills. Yes, I'm such a great ranged weapon fighter. This is fine. It's fine. The configuration here might give it away a little bit, but basically right above us, ignore the Enderman, and then right here are 2 blaze spawners. We have a double blaze spawner that is within about, the spawners themselves are about 10 blocks away from each other. I didn't actually count. I probably should have. But this is the closest I've ever actually seen 2 blaze spawners in game in person myself. I've seen some really crazy OP farms that involve them, but I've never seen them this close before. So as I mentioned, this is just the work in progress. So the mission accomplished that Stu did for us was he broke a piece of bedrock for us to be able to fly over here, because if you look at my cords, it's a pretty fair distance away from where base is and stuff. Might as well pick all this stuff up. But basically we've got to do a little bit of work. I want to get some glass to fill in their bounding boxes, or like the spawning boxes that we're going to do for them. So basically this whole block that's closed in is the spawning area. So what I'm going to do is where these netherrack are is where I'm going to put the walls. So there's a little bit of space. We dug out extra, and that was intentional so that if there's like a pack spawn that is attempted, and maybe one of them would be partially clipped into a wall, that should still allow it to, oops, I am lost. Also, this place is just insane for everything else right now, because I have the spawners blocked off and I've been standing there for a while. I'm getting ready to record. But yeah, this is kind of a scary fortress. But it's like half in, it's half in a crimson forest. And it is half in a warped forest. So we didn't want to use this one for the wither skelly farm. So thankfully Stu had found the one that was all straight up in the soul sand. Oh, come on. I'm just trying to get back. I'm just trying to get back to where I can finish showing this off. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Oh, I shouldn't have gone down there. Should not have gone down there to pick up the stuff. It was shiny, but it was not necessary. Holy cow. Okay. So, yes, to finish my point here, is we're gonna have, I think right here is where I want to do it. I think this makes the most sense. Is we're gonna have the player area that's dug down a little bit so that you're still within range for both of these, but that the guys from this one fall down maybe like 2 more blocks. Because you only have to be within 16 blocks of a spawner. So I think if I go down to that floor there and then 2 more, I think I've still got the active range. I'll double check. But basically what we're going to do is have this whole area so that they like path. There's only one place they can path through here. So that's why this one is a little bit less done, is because I have never done this farm myself. I need to investigate the technicals, shall we say. Because I don't know very much about Blaze, but I know I can make a double farm out of it, so I prepped it. But we do have, those are all of our trips that we have for the nether. I do have one last thing, to catch y'all up on, and then, we have a big, powerful outro plan. Okay, I promise. Hold with me, two more minutes, I promise. Okay. I didn't lose my footage of this ender, but I kind of liked the way we got to showcase the wither skelly farm being used. So I made the ender. It is nothing super special, nothing groundbreaking, but it is a consistent experience source for the server, so we could get our gear and mend gear and start taking on bigger projects. And before I forget, let's show that finale!